thanks for joining us. The finals, Jared. Our playoffs, our slasher playoffs, we're into the finals. Look, I'm not going to lie. Our first effort was unprofessional. I listened back. And it was unprofessional. Jared.
Yeah, it was.
It was unprofessional.
But I feel like I can't be held to the same standard. You'd brought in everything done and ready to go, and I said, well, righto, I'll just... And so my unprofessionalism just came from I couldn't hold myself together in the face of this shambolic bracket that was put together.
Well, look, this second round is much more professional, I suggest.
Wouldn't take a lot.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much. This will be a more professional outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so before we get to all that, we've got some shit to unpack here. We're going to give everyone a little bit of everything. What have you seen recently?
What have I seen?
Yeah, come on.
Okay. Short list, but I am on holidays now, so that will
great.
lengthen substantially. I started with... Well, kid stuff again. I got dragged along to the Minions. Less said, the better there.
Oh, yeah? That's a bit of a hole, is it?
Oh, it's the same old stuff. I then delved into a little bit of doco territory. I actually found a 30 for 30 doco on the M1 mixtape phenomenon, which was pretty good. It only went for about 50 minutes, and it could have gone longer.
Yeah.
It feels like it goes up until they started touring and stuff, and then it just stops. It doesn't go into... when it all kind of fell apart and all that sort of stuff.
Did it fall apart?
Yeah, I think it just eventually kind of petered out. They talk about that a little bit, but then they rightfully point out, people in the NBA like Kyrie Irving and that sort of stuff who really wouldn't be handling the ball and stuff like they do if it wasn't for that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they rushed through that, and I think there was probably more to it, a bit of touch and base on some of the people that are kind of, what they're up to now and that sort of thing. On the same vein, I finally got around to Hustle.
Did you like Hustle?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I liked it as well.
Sandler needs to stay there. Needs to live in that kind of territory.
Yeah, exactly.
And the performances from the NBA guys...
Solid.
Excellent.
Yeah,
they're very good. So that was solid. Then getting into more sort of fair related to what we tend to talk about here, I watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
How's that? Because that's on Disney Plus now, correct?
Yeah. I waited it out. I was gonna check it out in the cinemas, and I ended up... Just things didn't break to where I could see it when I wanted to, and then I heard it was going to be on Disney Plus. I heard about a fortnight ago it was going to be on Disney Plus now, so I held off and watched it the night that it came out. Look, I was a little bit let down, to be honest. I wasn't expecting huge things from Doctor Strange in general, but Sam Raimi, I felt touching on a little bit of. They were mentioning there's a little bit of horror elements in there. Very, very mild stuff.
Yeah.
Being a Marvel film, and obviously he had Spider-Man as well, so he's got fucking
pedigree.
He's got pedigree in both of those things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I just found it a little bit boring. The only real highlight was it was okay, but it was just a lot of stuff that we've seen over and over from Marvel. The only buzz was seeing the cameos that they tossed in, which they've kind of become very good at highlighting beforehand. So it wasn't really a shock who was in there. There was one where I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty solid. And I know a lot of people were excited about that, but yeah, overall it was just a middling experience. I then finished up Obi-Wan Kenobi.
How was that?
I quite liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. Given that it suffers the same old prequel kind of work where a lot of the main characters are heading towards somewhere you're aware of,
yeah,
it can be hard to get a lot out of it.
Yeah,
and there was parts of it that didn't.
Because it's preordained.
Yeah, there was parts of it that didn't quite work out so well, and some episodes that were a bit of a drag. But it was a nice, neat 6 episodes.
Oh, well, that's good, so they didn't run the shit out.
They didn't run the shit out. It was nice, neat 6 episodes between... I think the shortest one was about a half hour and the longest was about 45 to 50.
Okay.
But they got some really nice moments out of Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor again.
Well, that's good.
So I was really happy with where some of that ended up, actually, and considering you knew where it was going to go, I was pretty happy with the experience overall.
Okay, that's good.
I still think The Mandalorian's probably my favourite of those Star Wars shows, but this one was definitely a worthwhile, especially for someone that's never been big on the prequels. They kind of took some of the better better work from the prequels and expanded a little bit. And
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I was happy with that.
That's good.
I watched Alligator.
I love Alligator.
Got around to it finally on Shudder. I was happy with that.
Yeah.
Solid 3 stars there for me. It was quite
classic sort of Jaws rip-off.
Yeah, and the work that they did
fun.
with the alligator was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like they worked around the obviously limited effects, and then clearly shot some footage with the real alligator.
Yeah,
with
and
like
some miniatures and stuff. Yeah,
that was all right.
Yeah.
I quite liked it. And the last one, I got to Maverick.
He got to Maverick.
I got to Maverick.
Let's talk about Maverick, because I've got a little bit to unpack here.
Yeah, let's talk.
Because we talked about, and I said this at the time a couple of episodes ago. I said that 5 years ago, me, you, and Gibbo said, "Who the fuck needs Top Gun 2?"
Yeah,
and that Tom Cruise is a spent force in the industry.
Yeah,
and this shit just clicked over $1 billion.
Yep,
and. Let's be honest, it's not a superhero movie. It's not a franchise. Well, it is kind of a franchise,
it's
but
the nostalgia. It's
a nostalgia hit. But to gather $1 billion out of a movie that I had big questions on whether or not anyone would be that interested. It seems that everyone is.
Well, that's like, I'm still asking who's the movie for, and the answer seems to be everybody.
Yeah. Plus, it's still the #1 movie in American cinemas.
Yeah. Well, judging by it, so I was in there today, and it's obviously
dropped 30% in its fucking 6th week.
Yeah. Pretty well frequented for a fucking Monday morning session that I was in.
You cannot knock the fact that it must just hit the sweet spot.
It was good. Spot. It was a good movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Was it the best movie of the year?
Well, to be quite honest, it was one of the better ones I've seen in the cinema this year by a stretch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's done all right. I mean, I feel like you snuck up on me 5 years ago. If I had 4.5 years to think about it, I might have said, "Oh,
look, if someone had said to me yesterday, what do you think about Maverick? Yeah, fuck yeah, we definitely get Maverick on.
Yeah.
You know what? And ultimately, Paramount, because it's Paramount Pictures, isn't it? It's Paramount? Yeah, I think it's Paramount. They could have taken a real bath on this, because they were supposed to release this 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Cruise, I believe, was the one saying, no, you hold out. So there's a lot of money lost in marketing and stuff.
Yep.
Like something like the James Bond one that basically got shifted for like 2 years, and they spent a shitload of money remarketing it on several different occasions.
Yes. Yeah.
And look, it made good bank, but not that kind of money.
Yeah.
So they waited, and
I mean, Kenneth Branagh's probably still sitting there going, "Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, should have.
Why couldn't have ours turned out like this?"
Yeah, but he had bigger fish to fucking problems.
Yeah, problems.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
He should have fucking digitally removed Army Hammer. That's what I would have done.
Yeah. The second I saw Army grinding on the dance floor, I was like, "Oh
shit, hang on, get him out of there."
Yeah. But no, I think it's just it's to give Cruise his credit, he was excellent. I think it captured, with the young guys, it captured the vibe of the original.
Yeah.
With some of the kind of relationships and the cocky kind of back and forth and banter and all that sort of shit. But Cruise was there to level it out with the emotional beats, and quite honestly, that stuff was the best stuff in the movie.
Yeah.
And obviously the stuff in the planes, I mean, Jesus Christ, there was a couple of times where I was sitting there, I felt like I was in the fucking cockpit.
Yeah. I tell you what, there's a few blokes whose fucking eyeballs are still in their sphincter. There's a couple where you see them sort of blasting off and their fucking faces are getting...
Yeah, every time they hit that, they're hitting the G-forces, I'm thinking... I reckon they just tossed him in on day one and took him flying around and just got all the footage of him going, "Oh, fuck."
Well, fucking Miles Teller came out of one of the flights with fucking hives.
Was that under his moustache?
I think so. His fucking moustache was horrendous, but he had fucking hives or something. They tested his blood. It had fucking jet fuel in it. Like, what the fuck are you blokes doing?
Well, I mean, that can't be blamed on the flight. Christ knows what Miles was up to the night before.
I know. Yeah, he was saying that fucking that had nothing to do with the flight. I was out on the piss at all.
Yeah. Jet fuel, I think you mean rocket fuel.
I had a couple of them last night. But that sort of technological effort is, that's a lot of money spent.
Yeah.
And 800 fucking hours of footage.
Yeah. You had 800 hours of people going, oh, fuck, take me down. And you had 2.5 years to refine it.
Yeah, exactly.
Editing suite.
And I actually think that 2-year wait probably worked in its favour.
Yeah. And
it increased the ability to kind of pump it up again.
If I'm the studio and Tom's saying, no, just hold, I say, can I send the bill to the Church of Scientology?
Yeah.
If they're footing it, I'm happy to do it, mate.
I'll fucking send the bill to you twat. That's what I would have said. What the fuck are you talking about? We're bleeding money.
Yeah.
We're hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
But it worked a treat. Like, this is his biggest movie. His entire career.
That's what I mean. We're calling him a spent force, and he's got his career first $1 billion picture. And quite frankly, judging by today, it's going to make $1.5 billion.
You know what though? The Paramount was saying that they have a 45-day window in the cinema.
Mm.
Mate, there's no way. You do not fucking cut this off just yet.
No, shit.
Well, you let it go for another 6 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you probably make another 120 mil.
Well, like I
it's
said,
still made 30 million this week.
Yeah. The drop-off is not on anything like the scale of a normal...
And that includes facing...
Even the large blockbusters.
Yeah, it's faced up to Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And then it just took on...
Which I've heard is a kind of a film.
Yeah, I've heard it sucks too, but still, it's a big movie which would have eaten into their box office.
Mm.
Then this week it beat out Elvis and The Black Phone.
Also. I've heard some things about Elvis.
I haven't. I've heard nothing but good shit about it.
About Elvis?
Yeah. The bloke or the... Because I hear he's a shit bloke.
Well, everything I've heard about the movie says it's just a fucking garish mess.
Is it? Oh, is it not Cats again?
Baz Luhrmann.
Oh, no. Baz can get a little bit over the top.
He can get a little bit over the top, but yeah, I've heard
is it Cats? Is it possibly Cats?
No, I don't think it's Cats, but people were disappointed.
Okay. Because, you'd think it'd be ripe for some pretty interesting shit.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not in... It's not in Cruise's wheelhouse.
Oh,
it's more of a spent force than Tom is, obviously.
Tom. You know what? Tom's fucking peacocking like there's no tomorrow at the moment. He's wandering the studio.
I mean, I was waiting for Tom and Travolta to roll out in Trading Paint 2 the way his career was going. And now look at him. Pardon the pun, but I'm flying, mate.
Well, let me just lay this put it out there. In a current climate movie-wise, where all of those old stars have basically fallen away, this bloke can still headline a $1 billion movie.
Yeah, but look, I mean, the point that you've brought up, to me...
He's still got the Mission Impossibles in his pocket.
But, well, that's the thing. He's not bringing something new.
No.
I still don't think Cruise is going to bring something new that you haven't,
Well, fuck, mate. He's making a movie in space soon. Shit. Surely that's got some dollars on it.
Yeah, well, look, he's got some legs with Mission Impossible because it's got runs on the board, but it's still the case where he hasn't... I mean, it's stuff that we recognise.
Do you know what, though? I wouldn't be surprised if Cruise put the queue in the rack when the Mission Impossible series went finished. Because he thinks to himself, I've got nothing else to I've got nothing else to do. Nothing else to prove.
Yeah. But what's he going to do in space?
Who knows? Fly something? Fuck. If there's a Top Gun 3, that prick will be flying planes. Yeah. He'll be going, oh, look, don't worry about the pilot.
I've got this. Don't worry about it. And he'll do it in 2 minutes 15. But overall, fucking fantastic movie. Let's be honest. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it really got the...
It was one of the first cinematic experiences I've had in ages where I was like, this fits right in with the old Simpson Bruckheimer sort of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt I felt exactly what I was feeling when I was watching those movies
back in the 90s.
that time, you know.
Yeah.
So I was happy with it. I was very happy. Yeah.
All right. My list is short. Not really sweet either, I wouldn't have said. I watched a Blumhouse picture, The House on the Bayou.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Interesting premise. Threw in a nice little twist midway through that I didn't necessarily see coming. I mean,
Where was this?
Gullet. It's on Binge.
All right, so I'll just pick that up on someone else's account that I happen to access.
Shush.
Just borrowing it.
Yeah, just borrowing your hubby. I rewatched Grosse Point Blank.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, good shit.
I don't recall watching the whole thing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, it was nice, serviceable stuff. The next one on my John Cusack list is Hot Tub Time Machine. And the last one for me was Alligator 2, The Mutation.
That's next on my list.
Look,
Stinker.
Best to get it off the list.
Right.
It's pretty bad.
Well, I've got a couple of Tubi to catch up on.
You know what? It's actually not as bad as I expected.
Yeah.
I was actually expecting to be horrified with what I was seeing, you know. But, look, it was serviceable as far as it's not a bad little B-grade cast. But it's when the alligator turns up.
It's no good.
No. And the whole concept of where they are, it's roaming out into some lake.
Mm-hmm.
And Stevie Railsback is the shoddy kind of developer. Oh, man.
Well, you know, if you watch Not Quite Hollywood...
Railsback's still fucking pissed off about turkey shoot. That?
Yeah, shoddy.
Taking their mate to the track.
Taking the track and all.
Jesus,
Steve.
Yeah, that was like 25 years ago, mate.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But that was it.
Good.
Piece of news, Jared. Recently been in the news. Interesting. Superhero related. What the fuck is going on with that bloke from The Flash? Is he fucking off his rocker or something?
Well, it's they. The starters.
Okay, they. But
yeah,
they've lost the plot. Yeah. And obviously, that now the Warner Brothers is like, fuck, what are we going to do now?
There's obviously substantial mental issues going on.
Yes. So what do you do as the studio? Well,
I mean, it's a really tough one because
he won't be doing press.
No, well, but how can you not release it?
You have to release it, but what do you do with
introducing Michael Keaton's Batman again?
So what do you do?
Multiverse kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, to be quite honest, I've got no idea what you do.
You can't use him in press.
You've got to release it. I think the sooner the better, because it doesn't appear like their issues are going away anytime soon. So I feel like the longer you hold it, you're just waiting for more things to come out.
An article I read said you respin it to talk about Batman. Like the fact that Batman's in it.
Well, I think
that's how you market.
You have to just put it out as quick as possible. There is the intro to the multiverse, the DC multiverse stuff, with Keaton as the big draw, and the fact that I believe they're going to be throwing out some Batgirl related stuff in there.
Right.
And I'm pretty keen for that movie as well. And as soon as it's all done, you've just got to recast. I don't see any other way around it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are talking Grant Gustin from the TV show. Me personally, I don't think that's the way to go, because he's got that. He's already got that catalogue on the show. I think you just got to recast it.
Yeah.
And just deal with it.
Yeah, obviously something's gone wrong in Ezra Miller's life.
It sounds like, no surprise, but it sounds like there's a lot of drug use.
Yep.
From the most recent reports.
Yes. Well, you know, again,
but I mean,
it's all alleged, but bottom line is obviously something's gone wrong.
Well, there's allegations, but there's 2 arrests that are on record.
Yeah.
There is the guy that's accusing him of stealing music. There's the people that are accusing him of grooming, accusing them of grooming, sorry.
Yeah.
And now the whole situation with the family living on his ranch. On their ranch, sorry, I keep saying that. I should be more mindful of that, but it's a fucking mess.
Yeah. So You catch
so
it.
these delays,
Yeah,
I mean...
you get it out there, you use Michael Keaton, he's going to have to do a lot of press. Poor bastard's going to have to do some press.
I mean, it'll be...
And I can only assume he's barely in it.
If they go back for reshoots, it'll be a Batman movie before you can...
Because he's not really... I don't believe he's a big player.
I think it's small. I think it's very small. And knowing what... Again, I've read a little bit of Flash. I'm not too deep into the Flash.
Yeah.
But it's always him that's opening up. It's always Barry Allen that's opening up these multiverse kind of... Not always, but a lot of these stories begin with the Flash kind of opening up these pathways to different worlds and different universes and shit like that. And I know that, you know, they've got other ways of doing it now. They do it all the time, but a lot of the major kind of storylines and the major sort of events in DC have started, you know.
Is it just...
Crisis and Flashpoint and all that sort of stuff, so...
DC just cannot get a break, can they?
Well, I mean, they've got The Rock for a picture, so...
Yeah, but I saw that trailer. It looks fucking stupid.
Well,
honestly,
I'm kind of excited about elements of it, but I looked at it and I was like, it looks like a Rock picture.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
like, but what I'm saying about DC is they just cannot catch a break.
yeah.
Everything they do is just shit. Like it's just, it just gets caught up in some shit. You know?
That's the generalisation. I mean, the Suicide Squad was good fun, and then the Peacemaker TV show was well received.
Yeah,
with little issues.
But what I mean is, Suicide Squad didn't make the money it could have made because of COVID.
Yeah. That's
and then
right.
you've got the Justice League that got compromised, unfortunately, because Snyder had to deal with some personal issues.
They wisely double dipped. I mean, we talked about that.
Yeah, that was a smart move.
Before it happened, we were like, what can you lose? Well, you know, you dip another 30 mil in, but I think it was worth the investment.
Yeah, it was worth the investment. But then you've got all that bullshit about bloody Joss Whedon acting like a fuckstick. It's nothing but bad press. And
yeah, you're right.
Mediocre films, most of them.
The funniest thing now is, though, there's reports that now that who's bought the Discovery Group or whatever bought AT&T or whatever, so now they basically own Warner Brothers and by extension DC, and it's like, oh, they're making all these changes, and then, you know, they're looking for DC's Kevin Feige, and I'm like, we heard that shit 5 years ago, and it was Zack Snyder, basically. So,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know, excuse me if you're not filling me with fucking optimism on this one. I just read it and I was like, oh fuck, here we go again.
But let's face it, they just can't seem to catch a break.
They also canned the TV show related to the Batman, the Gotham Central one.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of these shows. Like, let's take. No,
but this one was not. This one was not part of CW. CW's got one called Gotham Knights on the way. This one was HBO Max and was related to the Batman, Rob Pattinson. Oh, yeah. It was going to be Jeffrey Wright.
Oh, okay. Well, that would have been better.
Well, they canned it.
Oh, okay.
But Gotham Knights is still going to be there if you want another CW. Yeah. So the good news just keeps on coming.
Good Lord.
But yes, Ezra Miller needs to be...
It's a very tough call as to what you've got to do.
I feel like you're too far down the track. You've been delaying for years.
The film's already in the can.
Yeah, you've been delaying for a couple of years to get the film in the can. You've got it in the can. Ezra Miller has now shat on any chance that you have of making that film a massive success. I feel like you've just got to release it and just say, we apologise, but we were too far down the track to change this.
Yep.
And the role will be immediately recast. So please enjoy it in its current form and look at the positives, but Ezra Miller will not be back.
Yeah.
I don't know how else you do it.
But it's about selling the picture.
You just go and find another Flash from another fucking universe.
But there's obviously some other actors in the film.
Of course.
Of some note.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, shit. I mean, Marvel's still putting people in movies. They're still putting fucking... What's her name from Black Panther that's spouting conspiracy theories and all that sort of shit?
Who?
The sister, Shuri. I mean, she was spouting anti-vax, putting stuff on Instagram, anti-vax and linking fucking debunked YouTube videos and shit like that. She's going to be fronting or very prominent in the next Black Panther.
So hang on, sorry. So she was well researched.
Did a lot of research. Spent a lot of time doing research in between film roles.
Yeah. Oh, the YouTube videos. That's where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, as Ronnie Chang said when I went and saw him, his comedy show, he was starting fired up, and started saying, when did all the D plus students start requiring all the fucking research?
Exactly.
It's like, you guys used to fucking beat up the nerds, and now you're fucking requiring books. What book could I give you that would fucking satisfy that need for research?
Oh, man. All right, let's take a quick break and then let's get into the finals. Alright, the slasher movie finals, Jared. We paired down poorly in the first occasion and left ourselves a team short for the playoffs. So we've got let's first get our play-in tournament done. So on the Western Conference side, Jared, we said we'd give My Bloody Valentine from 1981 another shot. And we're going to put it up against My Bloody Valentine, the remake from 2010, I believe.
Yes.
Now, we're going to do things slightly differently due to the more professional sheen of this episode.
You've had a bit of a look in the mirror and decided you need to be better.
Yeah, I did. I felt like I needed to be better.
That's all right. See, I put it all on you. I'll just expect you to.
What we're going to do is we're going
to. I'll be pissing and moaning about it.
This time we're gonna have 6 criteria, and we're gonna rate them out of 5, and that'll give you a final number.
Are we going to say we have 6 and only have 5 in the end, or?
Oh yeah, 4? Yeah. It turns out we won't have enough
to put together a score that is a bit quiet.
Yeah,
we'll be rating out of 30, but it only adds up to 20.
What'll happen is they'll both come out with the same score. Because we can't fucking add things up for me. This will be really good. Okay. Shut up.
All right, proceed. Continue.
My Bloody Valentine, 1981 versus My Bloody Valentine, 2010. Let's start with 81. We're going to rate them under these 6 criteria. So we'll open up with the first, with Bloody Valentine 81. The criteria are as follows: the killer, the acting, the gore, the scares, the script, and the final girl. And then you rate them out of 5. Mm-hmm. So me and you will put our heads together right now. The killer in 1981's My Bloody Valentine. What would you give it out of 5? What do you think?
I'm coming in with a solid, a strong 4.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a 4.
Yep.
If we could have got sequels here, this one would have been another one we would have been talking about with Michael and Jason and all them.
Because the look is good. The look is very cool. It has a reasonable backstory too.
Yeah. Interesting enough mythology.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fucking Madman.
No. 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 Doesn't have the same kind of vocal tones.
Yeah, it doesn't do any of that sort of bullshit. But, okay, so this is the interesting one about this one is comparing it to 2010.
Yeah.
It's also got a 4 because it is the same killer.
The same thing, yeah. It's basically the same.
The same setup. Look.
And they didn't divert very far at all from how the minor looks.
Yeah, and they didn't divert from the mythology either.
No.
It is the same mythology. Obviously, because it's a remake, but it's just, they didn't do anything, they didn't go in a slightly different direction to kind of, you know, class it up a little bit. Okay, so, next one on the agenda. Acting. This is a difficult one. I actually think 81, I'd probably give it about a 3.
Yeah.
I don't think we're blessed with a superb group of performers.
No.
I think they're solid in what
It's
they
better
produce.
than the average. It's better than the average.
Yeah, but you have got a couple of, the fucking mayor is not what I would call a great thespian. And there are a couple of the minor characters who, don't quite get the money for me. And I actually don't particularly like TJ.
Mm-hmm.
I think his performance isn't great, or isn't really that strong. So 3 out of 5 I'd give.
Yeah, I was going to go the same, and I was going to give the remake a 3.5.
3.5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you got your Tommy Atkins, and you got your, you've got people that had cut their teeth on teen soaps and things like that. The
They
CW,
cut themselves in the CW
set
with Kerr Smith and fucking what's the Jensen Ackles. And I actually think, is it Jamie King?
Yeah.
Jamie King is definitely better.
Yep.
A better choice for that role.
Yeah. But then, of course, you throw in your Todd Farmers in cameos and things like that, which is, I like that guy. But he's just in there for a bit of fun. You're not grabbing him for his acting.
Yeah, so I would say the acting's slightly better.
Yeah.
In the remake. So at this point in time, the remake's ahead. 8.5 plays 8. Next one on the agenda, Gore.
I think you'll find it's. I believe we gave him 4 and 3, did we?
What?
4 stars and then 3 stars. You've said we're 8.5 plays.
Oh shit, 7.5. All right, we're going well. We're going well already. Fuck, all right. Well, I was fucking on the fly. I mean,
the amusing part about that is you've come out and said your maths is going to be in order this week.
No, I said I said professionalism was in order. I never said anything about anything else. Jesus Christ. We should stop this as we go right now.
Yep. We need to write it down.
Oh, fuck, I've got a pen here. I turn up to this hovel.
Well, I mean, Jesus, you can go outside and pick up a bit of charcoal or something and scratch on a bit of paper if you need to.
All right, fuck. Okay, Gore.
I would like to hear your thoughts on this one.
I actually think the original, I'd give the original 3.5.
Yep.
I think that there's something about that kind of old school gore and stuff that they produce in that I really like.
Yeah,
I would actually say the remake probably gets a 3.5 as well. They do rely a little bit more on CGI or some of that sort of stuff with the 3D effects that they need, but it is super gory, and it has got plenty of bloodshed and stuff, and most of it's pretty well handled.
Yeah,
so I think
and the 3D element, it's one of the 3D films from that period where it kind of burst back in for about 6 months.
Yeah,
that was really good and actually was served well by the 3D.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think I would probably have to go the same.
Okay, so the remake's still in front. Scares. I think the remake's a bit lower here because it doesn't operate on that. That's not what it's after.
Yeah, it plays
it's
more
very much in your face.
It plays more to those gruesome kind of the bloody kills that they can use the 3D as the novelty for. And as I said, that worked well. But in terms of scares, it's not as effective in that department. And as you said, that's not really what it was going for. So
I would say that the original gets a 3 because there's something about that, the way it's shot, darker lighting and stuff like that. I feel like it's a little more effective in the mines.
Yeah.
With the way it's shot there. And the remake, I'd give a 2.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go. I think we bump it up to a 3.5 and a 2.
3.5 and a 2. All right.
I reckon that's.
Yeah, that'd be fair.
That's pretty fair.
Because, as I said, the remake is not operating in that environment. It's not asking for that.
Yep.
It's not saying we need to scare you. It's saying we just need to shove this in your face.
Yeah, pretty much. And it kind of takes a bit of a Jason 6 approach, where a lot of it is just
snapping people in half.
Have a go at this. Snap it in half, yes.
Okay. The script.
I think you've got to give the original the nod
Yes.
Because the second one sort of, although, the second one I like how they tweaked the twist.
Yes.
But the original put it together, and the second one had a lot of it already there ready to go.
Yes. And didn't really deviate too much from what was there.
Yeah.
So really the blueprint was already there.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say it's probably another one that goes 3.5 to the original, 3 to the remake.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is The Final Girl. This one's tough because I don't think either Final Girl makes a great impression.
No.
They're not final girls I speak of.
She's pretty well neck and neck.
Yeah. Because even though Jamie King's the better performer, her character doesn't really get that much to do either.
Yeah, they're both somewhat forgettable in a few... Like when we're getting to the point where we're comparing them to other ones.
Yeah, I would say that they're probably two apiece. Because neither of them really make much of an impact.
Fair.
Okay, so breaking it all down, the original My Bloody Valentine has a score of 19 out of 30. The remake has a score of 17 out of 30, which puts My Bloody Valentine 1981 into the finals on the Western Conference side. Now, on the Eastern Conference side, Jared, we had Black Christmas from 1974 up against Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Yeah, tossed in a smoky.
A smoky? Okay, The Killer. I'm going to have to go with Leslie Vernon here.
Yeah.
It's a much more interesting deconstruction of what these monsters are. It kind of showcases who he is from Go to Woe. We get all this backstory about him. We kind of get an understanding of who he is. I was never a big fan of The Mask, but I think overall the whole sort of package works well.
Yeah.
I'd give it 3.5.
And it's an interesting one where it puts, the majority of the movie you're spending the time with the killer.
Yeah.
So
he's kind of almost our hero.
Yeah.
Throughout.
I think he's so interesting for the early parts of the film that, I'd probably nod toward that too.
Yep.
Black Christmas has some excellent parts related to the killer, but it's more around the POV stuff. That
we never really see the killer, do we?
Yeah,
we never really get to see the killer. We don't 100% know who it is.
Yeah, and I think it's also interesting that we put these two head to head because of the whole theory around... What's his name? The old fella from The Walking Dead that was in Leslie Vernon.
Yes.
People tossing out that's actually the killer from Black Christmas.
Yeah.
As a kind of fan theory. One of the few fan theories that I actually sort of enjoy. And
yeah. So I'd say Leslie Vernon gets the money there.
Yeah, what are you going?
3.5. I'd say Black Christmas is probably 2.5.
I reckon 2.5 as well.
Because you don't really, as I said, you don't really know the killer.
Yeah.
At all.
And it's kind of in an effort to... I don't know. The phone calls, you can kind of go either way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's creepy, and then other times it's like, oh, this is just kind of a smutty sort of prank call.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I think I would go Leslie Vernon is more interesting there.
Yep. Okay. Acting.
Ooh. I think I'm going to have to go with Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Although, I'm not a huge fan of Olivia Hussey's
performance.
She's up and down. Like, she's got some really good work in there, but across the board, you've got some seasoned performers.
Yes.
That do the job in there. Yep. I forgot Johnny Saxon
Johnny
was in
Saxon
it.
is there.
Margot Kidd is pretty good.
Is there. Leslie Vernon struggles because of lower budget.
Yep.
I think the guy playing Leslie Vernon is very good.
Mm-hmm. What about Robert Englund?
Yeah, right. It's always nice to see Robin, but he's barely in it.
Yeah.
And as we all know, he's not always on point.
Yeah.
But apart from those two, it's a little bit. There's a bit lacking in other areas because there's not a lot of characters that we get to know either.
Yep.
Through that period, so I think I'd probably give Black Christmas a 3, and I'd give Leslie Vernon probably a 2.
Yeah, okay. I was probably thinking more the halves, but 3 and 2's fine by me.
Okay. Gore. neither film bristles with gore, does it?
No. Well, Black Christmas, obviously being the forerunner to Halloween, is very similar in that regard. Like there's not a lot of
not really a gore picture.
Yeah, tough one. Because Leslie Vernon doesn't revel in it either.
No,
that much. So this category is not really what the strength of either of these films.
No, I think it's probably twos.
Yeah,
because I don't remember anything particularly gory in Leslie Vernon.
Yeah, probably twos all round.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't have he has the bloody apple cider. Fucking what is the
press or whatever?
The apple press or whatever.
That I believe that comes into play in the end. Okay, scares. This is where Black Christmas gets your money.
Yeah.
This is creepy shit.
And I think it's unsettling even when it's not. It's just the whole sense of dread thing again.
Yep.
Like even when they're letting the foot off, you're still uneasy.
Yep. The phone calls start that sort of stuff. Then the POV works. Then the couple of the kills that you see with the girl getting the fucking plastic bag wrapped around her head.
Yes.
And then the unicorn sculpture. And again, you don't see the killer. You don't really see him. You know that he's there. And then, of course, the big ending works really nicely to cover off on some of that. So, look, Leslie Vernon, again, because you're deconstructing the killer, you can't be scared.
Yeah, and it deconstructs some of that. Like when he go into those sequences and he talks about how, how they start with that bit at the diner.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about how it's all going down. And so from that point, you're sort of just like, oh, it's more focused on that than actually developing the scare.
So I would actually say Black Christmas has a 4.
Yep.
The scares, and Vernon's like maybe a 1.5. Yeah, there's really nothing there in the sense of trying to be scared because the film is pitched with the killer, so you don't get that.
So this category for Leslie Vernon is like 3-point shooting, but you're talking to Shaq or something like that. It's just not his game.
Yeah,
you know?
Okay. The script. I would actually say that Leslie Vernon might be just slightly ahead because it's something different.
They're both pretty tight. See, Leslie Vernon suffers from the end of it.
Yes. The end of it is disappointing. Black Christmas is also... Yeah.
It's not terrible, but it's sort of kind of... The great stuff is early on when it's sort of developing the whole
Black Christmas thing is good because it kind of set that template almost, that
and
of what Halloween...
I was just having a bit of a look of it, and I think it's actually quite well written in that regard, and now it's dealing with the abortion stuff. I mean, fuck, talk about
fucking
on the
flashpoint.
Yeah, well, you can imagine it being brought up again and kind of rewatched.
Yeah,
in the modern kind of setting there.
Yeah,
but I actually think it's quite well written.
Again, I haven't seen it for a while. Black Christmas, so I reckon maybe you could probably go for 3s or 3.5.
I reckon you're probably 3.5s at least for both of them.
Yeah, solidly scripted films.
Black Christmas, I'm probably being a little bit unfair, not giving it a 4, but
and The Final Girl. Again, 2 that don't really make a great deal of impact.
Yeah. Probably leaning towards Black Christmas myself.
Yeah. I mean, she's a bit more... her character's probably a little bit more highly regarded because it's probably a more highly regarded film.
Again, it's the idea of Leslie Vernon, how he's kind of putting these things in play for that girl that we get to know to be his final girl and whatever.
But when we kind of get there, it's kind of like...
When it's the character itself...
Yeah.
It's more the idea of what Leslie Vernon was putting together that I remember.
Yes, rather than her.
Yeah.
So I'd probably put them... Black Christmas at 2.5. Leslie Vernon at 2.
Fair.
Yeah. So what do we got on the scores here? Black Christmas scored a 17 out of 30. 14.5 for Leslie Vernon out of 30. Black Christmas is into the finals as well on the Eastern Conference side. All right, so now we've got our proper bracket. So let's dive in. Western Conference, Jared. First game on the rank. a couple of very big rivals here. Friday 6 versus Friday 4.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk. This was going to be an interesting one.
Let's talk.
The killer. Well, you know, both
Basically
Jason. But now we've got to decide which one of the Jasons is better.
Yeah, it's basically just your preference, and this is tough because we've split hairs on this one before.
Correct.
I'm a CJ Graham
You're
man.
a CJ Graham man.
But
I'm a Ted White
tight.
man. I'm gonna say I'm gonna pitch for Ted White. I think you give Ted White's got a 4, and CJ Graham's got a 3.5, just because Jason is actually scary in part 4.
Yeah.
He is not scary in the least in part 6.
But I don't necessarily believe that's to do with CJ Graham because the film
it's not
is
his
very
fault.
Different
Different
And I
film,
think
correct.
Graham is a
hulking presence, would you have said?
He's a hulking presence, and he looks like he's there to conduct business and do it efficiently.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, look, I can probably go.
Maybe
with
we
that.
can't be split.
No, look,
maybe it's
I'm happy to concede the half point there, even though I am a CJ Graham fan, but I understand that it's a different Jason. He's being asked,
yes,
to do a little bit differently.
Yeah,
I mean, Ted White gets to really menace, whereas CJ Graham gets to snap people in half. And that's, I mean, it depends what tickles your fancy, really.
Personally, from an acting standpoint, I would love to snap someone in half.
Yeah.
Much preferred.
Yeah, so
although
it really
I
is
wouldn't have been on set to see Crispin Glover go off like a bloody frog in a sock.
Yeah.
Dancing wise.
And the other reason I'm happy to concede the half point, again, I dig CJ Graham's look.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourites in terms of how he looks.
Yeah.
But the part 4 one is excellent as well.
Yeah. It's probably the classic Jason look, part 4.
Well, it introduces we're sitting here with a Jason mask, and it's a part 4. I purchased the part 4 because of the split in the head.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing, so...
Important little tiny extras.
Just the details.
The details. So, that puts Jason slightly ahead there.
Yes. Jason's slightly ahead of Jason.
Does Jason? Okay, acting. This is difficult too because I think part 4's got a really nice cast in terms of they're just a little better polished than the usual swill the 13th film.
How dare you?
But part 6 has also got that going. I think Tom Matthews and Jennifer Cook are both really good.
Yeah,
I really like Sheriff Garris.
Yes.
David Kagan.
So I think, look...
I'll even throw out a fucking bit of love for John Travolta's nephew, or whatever his name was.
I think part 4 is probably... I was going to say it's a little bit deeper, but really it's only Crispin Glover and Teddy.
Look, I'm going to go with part 6.
I think you're going to go part 6.
Yeah, part 6. Part 6 gets a 4.
I was going to say 4's got the depth, then I thought, hang on a minute. No, part 6 has got the depth.
Yeah. Part 6.
Yeah. Again, it's pretty close.
Yep.
So I would say probably a 3.5 to a 3. If we're looking relative to acting in general.
Yes.
If we're looking for Friday films, it's a 5.5 to a 6.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Exhibit A, the fucking Drongos they got for 5. Talk about not having any fucking depth on your bench. Oh, Jesus.
Well, you don't have a lot of depth on your bench, but you're also struggling for starters on that one. I mean, really, Demon's your 12th man, and he's a guy who can come off and just heat up very quickly, but he doesn't get a lot of minutes. So.
Well, probably because he's got food poisoning.
Coach isn't playing him, yeah.
Did
not play enchiladas. DNP, damn enchiladas.
That's right, yeah, damn enchiladas. All right, so gore. I think it has to be part 4.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I mean, fuck, when you cut a bloke's throat with a fucking surgical hacksaw and then twist his head around.
But also, part 6 was one of the ones that got trimmed.
Yeah.
And has never really been, from what I understand, they've never really found enough to
No,
really
to
do
sort
a
of
gory
reheat
cut
it.
or anything like that. So it's pretty clear cut on that one.
Yeah,
I would almost say it's a 4 and a 2.5. Yeah.
Scares.
It's got to be part 4.
Definitely, yeah. Probably a 3 to a 2 there. Because 4, actually, it'd probably go a bit higher, 3.5 to a 2. 6 is not scary. And it's because of what Tom McLaughlin had to do to make Jason that unstoppable Frankenstein type.
Yes.
Script?
Personally, I've got to go easily in favour of part 6.
Definitely.
On this one, because of the humour and the acceptance that this is where we need to be.
And
I think Tom McLaughlin's a pretty reasonable writer. Yeah.
There's some wit. All of it makes sense the way it kind of progresses.
Yeah. And I mean, can I give credit for anything Crispin Glover does to the script? I don't know if I can.
Yeah, when he's fucking off tap and deciding to do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
I don't feel that that's part of the script.
And even the the stuff about the dead fuck and all that sort of stuff in the hands of someone else might not have worked.
Yeah, exactly. He
thinks that's funny.
Yeah, one of my favourite fucking bits.
So what are we going there?
I reckon part 6 is actually a 4.
I think it's a 4 as well.
And I think part 4 is probably a 3. It's a solid enough script, but it's not. In Friday terms, it's fucking Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
But
I think the strengths of the movie were elsewhere. That it already had those, like we always say, it's the one that took the stuff that was already there and just packaged it up
perfectly. Yeah. And the last one is The Final Girl. So Megan against, what's her name in full? I can't remember her fucking name.
See, I
think that pretty much tells you the answer. Doesn't
it? This is also difficult because you've also got, if we're talking Final Girl and by extension
you've got
Survivors,
Tommy.
It's Tommy versus Tommy.
Yep.
As well.
Well,
so they kind of cancel each other out.
Put the two of them together. Put the two Tommy and his Final Girl.
Yeah.
From both films, you would have to say it's part 6.
Yeah, I think it's part 6 as well.
Tommy's older in 6.
Yep.
Better performance in terms of an adult performance.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've also got Megan, who you sort of, I believe, threw a curveball in that she was the best Final Girl of the franchise.
Yeah,
above Ginny.
Yeah, no, I probably was wrong there. I could be wrong, but I think she's one of the better ones.
Yeah, most definitely. Trish is the one in part 4.
Trish, that's right.
Trish is all right, but she doesn't. Again, there's no impact. Although she does fucking bash Jason around the fucking skull.
Yeah. I mean, we did talk about Megan's terrible decision making and that sort of thing, but she is kind of just her own thing.
Yeah, she's kind of
a
cool sort of Final Girl, one of those ones. Because
cool and hip?
Cool and hip in 1986. She was cool and hip.
You sound a little bit Steve Buscemi there. Hello, fellow students.
Yes. But she kind of drives the plot.
Yeah, she does.
Much more.
She does.
She actually pushes Tommy to do what he's got to do, whereas Trish kind of reacts to Rob turning up, and she's more of the not really knowing what's going on until the last 20 minutes where she fights. So, what do we got? Who gets the money here, Jared?
I think it's part 6, a 3.5 to a 2.5.
Yep.
That's my feeling.
Yes, definitely. This was very tight. Part 4 had a score of 20 out of 30. Part 6 had a score of 19. Part 4 is through. The second game is Scream versus My Bloody Valentine from 1981.
It's a short return to
look. It's
the playoffs.
The scores may not really be required here, if I'm being honest.
Well, we can go through the categories and just give our preferences.
Okay,
and decide.
Your killer.
On that.
Look,
Scream, clearly.
I always give. This is the only category that Bloody Valentine wins for me. I just love the Miner. I think that everything about the Miner is fantastic. It's really, really cool. Okay. The pickaxe and all that. It works really well. I like Ghostface, don't get me wrong.
Here's why you're wrong.
Okay, now, there we go.
No, continue.
But I just feel nostalgic nostalgia gives me My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah. Okay. Ghostface. Better look. The mask is a classic in any
Weaponry,
measure.
though?
In any measure. Weaponry's pretty standard. So the miner gets it for the pickaxe. But the look of Ghostface, the shtick on the phone.
Yes, I forgot about that.
The mystery element.
But hang on.
If you're looking at it just like Ghostface, I still think it's
hang
got
on,
the
though.
better look.
You're forgetting about that happened once, that happened twice. Cancel the dance, or it happens thrice.
Yeah, look,
that's fucking
he's a
golden.
wordsmith. I'll give him points for being a wordsmith, but so is Ghostface, and we get to hear it.
Yeah, true.
Unfortunately, Harry. I mean, if Harry had pulled out a guitar and started
The Ballad of
Harry
Warden,
I might have been in.
I
but,
may have fucking pickaxed the bloke to death.
No, look, I think it's.
Yeah, look, I think you're probably right.
For me, it's clear cut.
It's close, but I think you're probably right.
And Ghostface has something that basically none of them have, in that it's got the mystery element.
Yeah, we don't know who it is.
For every time Ghostface is around. So, obviously, you've got the longevity too. Like, you got 5 movies versus 2. I think it's pretty much
okay. Solid. Acting, Scream in a canter. I mean, no, because that's a good cast.
Yep.
Of young up and coming actors. They're all good. Then you throw in like little performances from like Henry Winkler in the background. And,
yeah.
You know, just guys that fill the roles perfectly. But then, you know, you've got Nev Campbell, you've got David Arquette, you've got Skeet Ulrich. You know, it's a good cast. They all produce the goods. The only one that most people are a little bit upset about is Matthew Lillard, because he's very much over the top.
But I love.
But, you know, I kind of dug that.
It.
Yeah, I sort of dive into that.
Well, I think I mentioned to you when we were talking about it that it's almost everyone at their career best.
Yeah, some of them fell off the wagon pretty quick,
basically.
So yeah, I would agree. Scream gets it there. Gore.
Yeah, see, Scream's not
particularly gory.
That gory as well, but it's probably got a couple of, you know, the thing like the
Stephen and Drew Barrymore
found.
Start, yeah.
So it probably just squeaks by on those, because other than that, they're both
pretty gory.
Yeah.
This could be one where it's kind of level, I would suggest.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close.
Pretty level. One. Scares, Scream.
Yeah,
just the menacing stuff on the
crafted.
Phone. It's crafted well. There are a number of good jump scares in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you had the stuff in the house without the phone calls coming first, it's run of the mill at best.
Yeah,
but because it's been crafted with the phone calls and shit,
yeah, it works.
It works
perfectly.
Better.
The script, well, fuck.
What about the supermarket? You get scared by that one?
Oh yeah, where he's fucking buying some tater tots and and then I got equally when I got equally scared when he's standing in the garden.
Yeah.
5 minutes later,
the frozen goods section's usually down the back somewhere, so you got to be wandering through the store
and personally, I'm going, what the fuck are you doing with a mask on, you dildo?
Poor taste. Get out of here.
Getting killed. The script, well, it's a no-brainer. Like, Scream is a tightly written script.
Yeah.
It really, really works.
Yeah.
No disrespect to My Bloody Valentine, which I appreciate the way that's put together, but we're talking about apples and oranges, really. It's not even that close. And as far as Final Girls go, well, you know, I think it's
an easy one.
It's an easy one. So, Scream canters through, gallops into the next round. So over to the Eastern Conference, Halloween '78 against Scream 2. Okay, first one, Killer.
Yep.
This one's going to be interesting, Jared, because you just told us fucking Ghostface was king shit.
Well,
how does he stack? How does Ghostface stack up against one of the premier slashers?
Pretty well.
No, not quite well enough.
It's Michael Myers.
It's definitely Michael Myers.
Especially if we're going to movies, particular movies, and adding the killers in there. Scream 2.
Well, you still got problems with fucking whispering.
I've still got problems with whispering in the crappers. I don't like that on it. You know, I don't like that when you're not killing anyone.
Yeah.
When you're killing people on top of
when
it.
I drop a deuce, I don't talk to it.
Yeah. I don't want to hear any conversation.
Yeah.
It's like a library in there. The only thing I want to hear is a little bit of tap dancing if you think you're going to make too much noise on the ball.
Yeah, or the occasional. That's a short foghorn.
As I said, if that's coming, you'll hear my feet kind of giving a bit of this business just to cover it up.
I've got to shuffle. I've got to get into position properly.
So
Michael gets the job done.
Michael gets the job done because he's not the original, but really, yes, the original for when you're going into like the ones that lasted. Has the whole kind of projecting your own fucking fears onto the blank mask.
Yeah.
The look's just iconic. Simple but iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to top the original Halloween.
Yeah.
In that regard, as good as Ghostface can be,
and
I don't think Scream 2 is the best of Ghostface.
No, it's not. But if we're going by scoring of films, I think you'd have to say 78 Michael is 5 out of 5.
5.
Scream 2, I'd probably say 3.5. It's not the best of Ghostface, but it still has moments that work.
Yep, I'm happy with that.
Okay, acting. I'm going to go with Scream 2 3.5.
Yep.
In the acting stakes, Halloween 78, probably a 3. And the reason why I say that is there's a greenness to Halloween. You know, it's not an experienced group of actors, and it doesn't come with, other than Donald Pleasance, everyone else is more, obviously Jamie Lee Curtis's first film, the other actors, although solid in what they do, then they don't stick out as much.
Yeah.
Pleasance is the only one who sticks right out, which is great. Look at Scream 2's cast, though. I mean, it's fucking dripping.
Yes.
It's probably deeper and bigger than the first one.
Yeah,
Almost.
but look, it's, time on the court. Hard to beat Donnie Pleasance. I know you think he's hammy, but I'm all for.
Pleasance is LeBron James.
A lot of Pleasance, yeah.
But he's surrounded by a cast that doesn't get it done.
Yeah.
For you.
Like, I think you pointed in Booby Gibson.
Booby Gibson. And that's not a knock on Jamie Lee Curtis. She is still good in the film.
Yeah.
I'm not
what about
saying...
Charlie Cyphers?
Charlie Cyphers, he's good.
Not enough time.
But that Scream cast, Scream 2, it's got all the characters from the original that we knew.
Yeah.
But then it throws in Timothy Olyphant, Josh Jackson, fucking Sarah Michelle Gellar, Portia de Rossi. Liev Schreiber is around more. And they're all good actors.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not. Again, people might be up in arms because I'm making that out like I'm shitting on Halloween, but I'm not. I'm just saying
you are.
If we're gonna get serious, looking at the two casts side by side, Scream 2 is the better cast. It's simple. So,
but I mean, Donald Pleasance is a force of nature.
Okay, well, Scream 2's got a 4 for the cast, and Halloween's got a 3. Because you've got Pleasance and you've got Jamie Lee.
I mean, I'm protesting, but
solid 1-2 punch in the post.
Yeah.
But past that, if you kick it out, nobody's hit anything.
Yeah. I mean, stand there with their hands up. That's about it.
Yeah. Fucking cut! That's all you ever hear from the coach. Bloody hell, cut. Okay. Third one is gore. Obviously, Halloween, I would probably say neither of these films are particularly gory.
No. Scream's got a little more.
So let's say 2.5 for Scream.
But I feel like, this is...
2 for Halloween.
It's harsh on Halloween again.
It is. It is harsh on Halloween, but Halloween starts to come good near the end.
I mean, you couldn't even give it a 2.5. There's just none. So it's a 2.
We'll give it a 2 because we don't want to be assholes. Because it's got no real gore in it, but
yeah,
Scream 2 doesn't have a lot of gore either, so it's a 2.5.
Yep.
Okay, this is where Halloween comes to the play. Scares.
Yeah.
Halloween's a 5.
It's another one that's, even with age,
it's still
I'm
creepy.
Still going above 4 because it's creepy as shit.
Yeah. And just all that shit with Michael in the background.
Yeah.
Where they don't use music to tell you he's there.
Yeah. Yep.
So you just see that mask just sort of looking in on her. It works a treat still. today. I give it a 5. I think scare-wise, it is one of the scariest movies around.
Okay.
Scream 2,
3.
not really a scary film. 3. The script, Scream 2 dipped.
Yeah, Scream 2 dipped.
Halloween is tightly written.
I would say Scream 2 is still a 3.
Oh, yeah, it's not shit house.
Halloween, I mean, see, the script also is pretty straightforward. It's pretty bare bones, but it's so effectively done.
It's efficient. Like, everything about it is really efficient.
Yep.
And
it's as straightforward as they come. The old, I mean, it probably wasn't done as much, but the break out of the institution and come home, it's sort of
simple, but also the mixture of a male writer and a female writer, and finding the voices for the women via Deborah Hill, and then some
totally,
indeed. But some of that shit, like the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, all that stuff is awesome.
That stuff is really good.
Yeah, and Pleasance, of course. I said he had some ham, but
so you're giving a 5?
I'm giving it a 5. I think the script is excellent.
I think it's more of a 4.
4.
I reckon it's a 4.
Why don't we cut to the middle? 4.5.
Okay.
Scream 3. And the last one.
We just haven't. We haven't accounted for stuff like music, which is Halloween is a 5.
Halloween's,
Like,
so this is where, when we move to the next round, the scores sort of drop off, and this is more of the
things. Yep.
Yeah, we start talking about our preferences. And then the last one is The Final Girl.
Easy. And again, it's hard to look back at Halloween without the extras that we've seen.
Yeah.
But it's well, it's not so easy, is it?
No, it's not easy because Sidney Prescott is, let's face it, this is 1 and 1A.
Yeah, I like the progression. I like the progression for Sydney, but again, Scream 2 is
lesser.
It's a part of it.
But my thing is this: Laurie Strode is the prototype, typical.
Yeah,
the prototype.
Pretty much.
That Sidney Prescott. Without Laurie Strode, there is no Sidney Prescott.
Correct.
So,
and I mean, if we're looking as a package deal, it's tight, and I believe I've put my preference out there as I feel like the progression through the movies is actually better for Sydney. So,
yes.
But if I'm looking at it as the original Halloween versus
Scream 2,
I'm
saying that
it's got to be a 5.
5 for Laurie Strode and a 4.
I would still give it a 4 for Sidney Prescott.
Sidney Prescott. Yeah, still a good performance, still a good Final Girl.
Yep. So
what the scores bring us here? This will be an interesting one.
So Halloween ends up on a 24.5.
24.5. Scream 2?
Scream 2 is a 20.5.
20.5. Okay. So Halloween into the finals.
Yeah.
The other side of the coin, Texas Chainsaw Massacre versus Black Christmas. Okay, let's start.
We had this matchup.
Did we have this matchup?
Yeah.
Oh, we had this matchup.
So this is the old-fashioned. This is the old-fashioned. The AFL scenario where you get beaten in week 1 and then you come and win the game. You can play them again in week 3 or 4. Or
look, I think this probably. Let's be honest. We've already been down this road.
Yes.
And we know what we went with.
Yeah, but let's
run through the scores to make sure
we might even just go head to head on those categories and see what.
Killer. Definitely Leatherface.
Yeah.
In a canter.
Yeah.
He's kind of more iconic.
Yeah, and the original is the best.
Yes, definitely.
For Texas Chainsaw.
Acting. Black Christmas gets the money there because Texas Chainsaw is very raw.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, from the kids, I think when you look at the family,
the family's all right.
Actually really good, but when you get to the kids,
oh yeah.
Fucking Franklin has destroyed us. Franklin's come out with a 2 for 18 on this one.
Shot like a cunt. He's John Starks. But also the other, the teens, their performances aren't great.
They're definitely raw.
Yeah.
And as we said, Black Christmas has a couple of people that went on to bigger careers. And
Kidder.
Yeah.
Yeah, better actors there. So that's definitely a win for Black Christmas. Okay. So the next one is gore. Neither is a gory film.
Well,
I think the idea of, chainsaws being involved kind of always made me feel squeamish about
well,
Texas
it's
Chainsaw.
more brutal. Even just, when it's quick, it's still a fucking meat tenderizer to the scone or something like that.
Or being hooked onto the...
Yeah, so it's Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, Chainsaw gets it. Scares? Chainsaw for me.
Yeah.
Just because it's that oppressive kind of trapped with this weird group that,
And the same, it's unsettling.
Yeah.
Even at the start where they've just got the shot of
the corpse.
Yeah, yeah.
And that music going...
Yeah. And going to the bloody... when they go past the cemetery, even that's uneasy, even though it's not really scary.
Yeah.
Just the fucking... The hitchhiker, when they're still just building it up. Last time I watched that, I was like, fuck. That is creepy as shit.
Yeah,
that's that opening stuff. So, yeah.
Okay, script. I would probably say...
I think this is tighter.
It is tighter. I think I'd say they were pretty even.
Yeah. I might even lean slightly to Black Christmas, just because I feel like it
better
takes...
plotted.
Well, it takes more... Maybe not more work. I think the characters in Black Christmas are good and they're trying to put forward mystery elements and things like that. A bit of a whodunit.
Yeah.
Whereas Texas Chainsaw is a little more straightforward.
Yeah.
And it comes together with the look of the film and the acting. And so I think I'd probably just slightly nod to Black Christmas on that one.
Yeah, agreed. And the last one is The Final Girl. Look, again, there's not a great deal of impression here, but I just feel that Sally probably gets it.
Yeah.
It's more iconic, some of that stuff where she's with the family and she's being tortured and the whole thing with him running out onto the road at the end.
Yeah.
All that stuff's kind of remembered.
Yeah.
Whereas Olivia Hussey's kind of not forgotten, but not particularly memorable.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for Sally is you do recall the friggin', like the scene at the dinner table and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where you look at it and you're like, fuck, she looks legitimately scared.
Yeah.
And she looks like she's losing the plot.
Yeah.
A little bit, which is the memorable part of the character. I mean, prior to that, I don't think she has a heck of a lot to do. And you don't hear a lot from her. There's not a lot of sort of character development.
No.
In terms of any dialogue or anything like that, but the situation she goes through, you feel like, fuck. You look at it and you believe she's gone through
like
hell.
I was fucking in it too.
Yeah.
All right, so TCM gets through. So what we have is Friday the 13th Part 4 versus Scream on the Western Conference side, and Halloween 1978 versus Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're going to drop our scoring now because obviously we've scored them.
Yep.
This is going to be more discussions about preference. Friday the 13th Part 4 versus Scream. I love Part 4, but you're up against the absolute best. Like, you really are getting probably whipped off the court.
Yeah.
There.
Well, it's one of those situations where you played well and you still couldn't get the job done. You maxed out your limits.
Yeah.
But you just weren't
You're
quite
up
as
against
talented.
just a far more talented squad, and Scream's just got everything going for it above Part 4.
That's my feel. Other than the gore, really.
Yeah.
Everything else. I mean, even Jason versus Ghostface.
I think Jason still gets you, mate.
That's probably tight. I would say that's as close as you're going to get to a tie on points.
Yeah.
But I think I just love Ghostface in Scream 1. Just a tiny bit more.
Ghostface can talk, so that gives him an edge in this type of thing because that voice what he says is important to the film.
You have to hear less from some of the as you were talking about the swill that your population feels with. Having Ghostface chat a little bit and interact with it just means you have
from
a little bit less swill.
The fucking Dracula's rejects that turned up in a lot of the Friday films.
I feel like we're really kicking Draculas. I mean, the good people at Dracula's probably
sure
work really hard.
They're lovely people.
But I I'm glad you said Dracula's rejects on this one because that gives them a bit of credit.
Yeah, credit. You can get some good ones through the door.
I'm sure if we went to Dracula's, we'd have a fucking great night.
So ultimately, we'd have an absolute barn burner. I mean, fuck, Dracula's is for us. Is it not?
Exactly.
So, I hate, it's kind of unfair.
Yeah.
That a classic, like what I would consider one of the classic slashers of the 80s period.
Yes.
If
and
not,
it is. I mean, shit, you've made the conference finals. You're no slouch.
No.
But, when you get to writing.
Yeah, writing, acting, the final girl. It's a canter in those aspects.
Yeah.
Jason might edge Ghostface in at the top of either edge him or go like level because Jason's sort of iconic, most well known of the slashers.
Yeah.
But then, you're looking at the gore. Scream's got enough there to satisfy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Savini, he always gets me. But it's only a hair better. And so Scream's really sort of firing on all cylinders, and Jason, unfortunately, Friday the 13th Part 4 just can't quite compete at that sort of level. So Scream goes through to the finals. On the other side of the coin, Texas Chainsaw versus Halloween 78. I think you got the same thing.
Look, this is the 94 Knicks. Texas Chainsaw is the 94 Knicks. Halloween's the 96 Bulls. It's had a bit of everything. The 94 Knicks, they're post heavy. They're going to bludgeon you. Yeah. You're going to know they're there. But
Silky Skills will win out.
Yeah, but Halloween 78's got Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
On the screen and in the director's chair.
Yeah, correct. And look, if you're breaking it down even further with things like music and directorial skills and all that, and I'm not knocking Tobe Hooper, and I actually find that little bit of sound stuff they use in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like the sound of the fucking camera flash going.
Yeah.
It's really effective.
They're more similar than I think. They're both pretty simple and reuse parts of music and stuff.
But it works.
But I think Halloween's is
Halloween's is better and more has stood the test of time.
Yeah. And I think, look, Leatherface, I've come around a little more. Still not my favourite.
No.
I would take, if you're putting Leatherface in as a big four, he's still number 4 for me.
Yeah.
But the original is pretty good, but you're going against what I believe would be number 1. And it's just got, Michael looks so fucking cool and creepy. But it also it's got this whole thing that they put together about the boogeyman, and I don't think you could have found a better look.
Yes,
because of that, you're projecting your own shit onto it. You kind of, we get the elements where we're looking through the fucking eyes of Michael Myers, basically, with the point of view shit. I just think Michael Myers has got that added element of you projecting shit. He's like the embodiment of you do see him, but it's also kind of a representation of what you don't see fucking scares you more and stuff like that.
So we've come down to it. Scream versus Halloween 1978. This is going to be an interesting discussion.
Mm-hmm.
They both have their strengths, and if we were to lay it out there, putting them against each other via categories, we might get a result that works for us. But for me, it's all more about feel, and it's about nostalgia, and it's about...
Just feel. You're one of these blokes that says analytics don't mean shit. You just go out there and take it.
I'm not interested in analytics. Everyone else is doing it.
You look at all the analytics. You're still the Byron Scott sitting up in the press conference going, "You don't win with 3 points."
No, you don't. Of course you don't. No, what I say is, it's about how I feel about these films.
Yes.
Not about
what
the thing is. And for me, it will always be 1978's Halloween. Just because it started all of this, pretty much started the slasher movie as it became.
And this is, you're
looking at, the Black
modern
Christmas probably deserves a bit of credit
Oh, look.
For a lot of some of what...
I mean, you watch that, you watch the opening and you're like, yeah, John Carpenter's seen this. And there are elements of that, but, I mean, the thing I love about I say it sarcastically, about the modern kind of, you know, everyone with an opinion on the internet is we're just so caught up in this hidden gem and, actually this is better and this sort of shit. And there's positive things about that, but then we get to this point where people just want to say it to be different. And it really bothers me sometimes. Look, I understand people have different opinions, but then someone puts out a different opinion and then everyone fucking has that opinion. And yeah, I know there are people that have put reasonable arguments together to say Black Christmas is better than Halloween and all this sort of shit, but I just think when you look at them head to head, I think it's clear that Halloween's just a little bit better, whether John Carpenter took things or not, and it's clear he did.
Yeah.
He'd met Bob Clark, he knew Bob Clark, he'd spoken to him about Black Christmas, but he did it better.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anyone says, my opinion is he did it better, and I think if you took a kind of consensus and went for a consensus, I think it is still that Halloween is better.
Yeah. So, for me, as much as I love Scream, and I think Scream has got so much going for it, and it changed the landscape.
Yeah, well, it kind of did a little bit of Halloween itself.
Yes.
It took a little bit longer for us to start getting some better movies.
Yeah, true. But what I mean is, it changed the slasher movie when it has gone stale.
Yes.
And was no longer a viable genre.
Yep.
And it restarted it. And it has all the hallmarks of what makes something like Halloween great.
Yep.
And it is right on par in a lot of areas.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just something about the original Halloween that I'll never sort of... I don't think any movie will of this type will beat.
No, and I think you're right. Look, I love Scream. It's one of my favourites, but I mean, if you go bit by bit, I think the only things that would have are Killer. It's Michael Myers. Like we spoke about, he's a 5. Even as much as I would probably put Ghostface in the original Scream as a 5.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, if I have to fucking break it down to the hundreds or thousands or whatever, it's Michael Myers that gets definitely the nod. The only things Scream probably gets are...
Well, the gore.
The gore and possibly the script.
Possibly the acting. I would actually argue the script, and this is why. I'm not saying that Scream is not a really good script, because it is. It's a fucking excellent script. But once again, I just come back to that simplicity. That simplicity about Halloween that, you know, it proves that you don't need to... It doesn't need to be fucking super, you know, complicated. You know, it doesn't need to go all that sort of way. Scream didn't cock it up, though. Scream didn't cock it up, but it's a fine line. Yeah, you need to make one fuck up there, and it's,
you know, as
you've got trouble.
As we've kind of already mentioned with other movies, I would argue that a lot of the successful stuff in Halloween is outside of the script.
True.
It's that you got Donald Pleasance. It's that you got the look of Myers so right. It's
the music.
It's the shots that you've selected. It's the point of view that, even though used in Black Christmas and stolen by John Carpenter, was still not widespread.
Okay. Dig a little deeper.
You brought in a bit more technology. I think the Scream script is the driving.
Yeah, is the king.
I mean, it kicked things off. It obviously helps to have Wes Craven and some good actors and shit like that. But if the script isn't as good as it is, Scream isn't anywhere near.
But if you dig a little deeper, if you go deeper than those categories we had, the Halloween music is better.
Music is way better.
The costume is better.
Yep.
The direction's probably better.
Yep.
Cinematography's better. So you're going deeper and you're finding that Scream, although very good in all those aspects, that's where Halloween wins out. It creates this kind of... It uses all those elements into one sort of... Almost perfectly for a movie that's so fucking cheap.
Yeah.
Think about it. Scream's got a budget of, what, 10 million or something like that, I think it had.
Yeah. It was
Halloween's got a
reasonable
budget of 250k.
250k, yeah.
And you got that out of it?
Yep.
Like, it's so well sort of put together. And I think it'd be hard pressed to beat in any sort of slasher movie, because you can't get away with that anymore.
Funny you mentioned that.
You can't have a simplified script anymore.
No.
It has to have a hook or something.
I just Charles Band's got a new podcast, and his first guest was John Carpenter.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. They were talking about movies on the cheap. I'm thinking, I think John did it better.
Yeah, John did it a fair bit better.
But they had that interesting conversation about, like, Charles Band brought up again how he was making Tourist Trap. And he's sitting there going, he goes, I was sitting up there making Tourist Trap, and then I heard you were making this movie, and they told me it was called this and that, and then I came and visited the set, and I thought, oh fuck, we're flying here because we've got similar scripts, but I've got Chuck Connors.
Yeah, that's your ace in the hole.
And he's sitting there going, I was spot on there, wasn't I? Which is funny because Tourist Trap is actually
not bad,
pretty good.
Yeah, right.
But and Chuck Connors was pretty good. But
yeah,
it's not Halloween.
Yeah, so my feeling is Halloween.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's
not streets ahead.
It's not streets ahead. It's very tight contest.
It's just ahead.
Halloween's,
and ultimately these
got it on across the board.
These are the two films you want in the finals.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is the two films that probably have had the most impact on the slasher genre.
It was going to be hard to top either of them. I think what's come out of this exercise for me is Texas Chainsaw.
Very high.
There was a time when I remember the first time I watched that, I was in my teens, and I just thought, that's fucking rubbish.
Yeah.
But the more I've watched it, it's almost every time I've watched it, I've liked it better.
Yes.
So it's crept up a bit for me.
Yeah.
And although I do chuckle and kick the shit out of the Friday franchise
regularly
quite a bit, the top of the pile in that is fucking great fun.
Yeah. And it was good to see two of the series in there.
Yeah.
And they're both really good films.
Yep. Although I must say, we almost have to have, like, we've done the NBA finals. We almost need to have like a
CBA
a sort of NCAA bracket for the supernatural slashers, because we cut a couple of crackers out.
We did cut Nightmare.
When we came to supernatural, there's multiple nightmares. Candyman.
Yeah, we lost a bit there.
Yeah,
we wanted to keep it a certain way. We wanted to keep it a certain way for this group, and I think we got the right answer at the end.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is,
it's not really
probably not really a surprise, but it's always interesting to see that journey and get there.
It was fun to talk about a couple of the lesser lights a little more. Madman, not so much.
No.
Friday 5, reappraisal needed. See if it was not a typo after all.
Friday 5.
In a moment of weakness,
should have fucking thrown it in the bracket.
You let your true feelings know.
I know. All right, that is the slasher movie finals. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for the next film that we will cover, but until then, take it easy, everyone, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.